My name is Vishwanath. I'm a civil engineer and urban planner by qualification, and I have about 34 years of experience in working on the water and wastewater sector in the city of Bengaluru, which is located in the south of India. I'm going to talk about the city and its water requirements, particularly from an ecological and livelihoods perspective, and how the city seeks to give traditional well diggers a livelihood and seek water security, particularly groundwater security. The city of Bangalore is located in the south of India. It is the capital of the province of Karnataka, and even within Karnataka, it's located in the south, as you can see from the photograph there. The city has an area of 1,250 square kilometers. Its current population is estimated as 13 million. It lies at an elevation of 900 meters above sea level, which gives it a salubrious climate, a cool climate. The water supply for the city comes from a river 95 kilometers away and about 300 meters below the city. This makes that every drop of water that has to come to the city has to be pumped up, making it one of the costliest waters in India with a high embodied energy. The embodied energy is about 1.88 units per kiloliter or cubic meter of water. The city also treats its wastewater in 27 sewage treatment plants, about 1,500 million liters per day capacity, and is struggling to get all the wastewater to the treatment plants, which is envisaged for the future. In the news, the city's been making headlines since about the last 2 years, particularly. The 11th city is most likely to run out of drinking water to hit day zero like Cape Town. Sao Paulo from Brazil was one, and Bangalore was listed as the second city by BBC in its article dated 11 February. The Niti Aayog, which is a think tank of the government of India, also said that Bangalore and Hyderabad are to run out of groundwater by 2020. 21 major cities, including Delhi, Bangalore and Hyderabad, are expected to reach zero groundwater levels, affecting access to 100 million people. It was another news item which came to News Minute in June 17, 2018. Why is the city set to face a crisis? As I was mentioning, the city gets its water from the river Kaveri 100 kilometers away. What you will see is the catchment of the river with two reservoirs, the KRS reservoir and the Kaveri reservoir. These are large dams which hold the waters of the Kaveri and release it slowly into the river, from where it is pumped up in a place called Thorekadinhalli, the 95 kilometers and 300 meters up. But the rivers of the reservoir have also to be shared with agricultural practices and uses. And it's in this sharing that there's a tension and a limit to the water that the city can draw. Currently, the city can only draw about 1,450 million liters per day, and it's expected in the future that it will draw an additional 775 million liters per day. This puts a ceiling on the water that the city can take from the river Kaveri, and therefore, to cater to an exploding population, there's a consequent reduction in demand, and thence a water shortage. But let's step back in history. The city, located at 900 meters above sea level, owes its existence to a geological phenomenon 3,500 million years old. Some of the rocks which are displayed in the city's parks date to this 3.5 billion years old history. This is peninsular gneiss, a particular volcanic rock that's been found, and this rock has created the elevation for the city, but also created the condition for its aquifers. What is also important as a phenomenon to note is about 88 million years back, India drifted from the then Gondwana land, a unique landmass, with the island of Madagascar was attached to India. India is now drifting into the main plate of Asia at a rate of about 2.5 centimeters a year, causing the Himalayas to raise. But at the same time, what it did was a piece of India was left in Madagascar from the western hill ranges called the Sahyadris. This piece of hill range is called the Palghat Gap. And the Palghat Gap is a dip in the mountain range in the southwest of India, which is falling from about 4,000 meters to something like 300 meters. Through this gap, in the summer months, the hot, humid air from the Arabian Sea rushes in, comes to the plains of India, drifts up north, and lands in Bangalore city in the evening at around 5 to 5:30 p.m., calling it the office rains. And you'll notice that May becomes one of the rainiest months in Bangalore city with 119.6 millimeters of rainfall, causing a bimodal peak. A peak in May, a dip in June, July, and then again the rainfall starts to rise and another peak in September. This rainfall or the summer showers caused due to the geological phenomenon of the continental drift gives Bangalore an additional advantage in that it can harvest this water and push it into the aquifers, particularly when the subcontinent of India is sweltering under the summer heat with temperatures reaching 45 to 46 degrees Celsius. But Bangalore never goes above 37 to 38 degrees Celsius, and it gets rain in April and May. The old timers who occupied the city of Bangalore 1,200 years back, 1,400 years back, threw earthen berms across the valleys and created artificial lakes called tanks. The lake that you see on the left is typical of the tank system of Bangalore. It's full of water. That lake water was used for irrigation purpose. It also recharged the aquifers and caused water to emerge in open wells, and the open wells were the drinking source of water for the old people. This is about 1,200 years old. But who were the people who built these lakes and tanks 1,200 to 2,000 years back? These people are from a particular community called the Vadar or the Ode community. These are traditional well diggers, as you see Munyappa there, Ramakrishna there. And they have been digging tanks and wells for 1,000 years, even in the city of Bangalore. Yet, with the advent of the borewell, they found that their business is declining because people do not dig wells anymore, but they dig deep borewells using machines. The city, especially in the old localities, has a lot of open wells still. Pottery Town, Cottonpate, Baswangudi, Yelahanka, Shivaji Nagar, Vidyaranyapura, Vincent Town, Kalabhairasandra. These are names of various localities of the city. There are many more, where there are typically old wells which dip about 30 to 50 feet deep. And people use them to draw water and even use them for drinking purpose. We are trying to discover where these wells are located, whether they can be cleaned, desilted, and revived, and whether new wells can be dug with the help of the One Water community. And so the modern idea of the well is one of recharge. What you do is to pick the abundant rainfall of Bangalore from the rooftops, and as you see Mr. Balasubramanian standing there, with his drum filter. The blue drum is a sand and charcoal filter which filters the rooftop rainwater and pushes it into a well which is covered with a blue tarpaulin there. The well is about 40 feet deep. From the rooftop, which is about 150 square meters, Mr. Balasubramanian succeeds in pushing about 150,000 liters of rainwater into the shallow aquifer into the well. And that well serves him all the water requirements that he needs for the whole year. Here's another typical example of a rooftop rainwater being brought in and led into a small recharge well. And this well is 3 feet in diameter, 1 meter in diameter, and about 6 meters deep. And this too pushes rainwater in, and the well starts to provide for water. It's both a recharge well and a discharge well. The traditional well diggers are now learning the skill of digging recharge wells and making sure that rainwater is getting into the aquifer. And many old open wells which were once forgotten are being revived. Cubbon Park is in the heart of the city. It's about 220 acres of green park space. It's a favorite with people who want to go there for a walk, a morning jog, or cycling, or merely walking with their children on Saturdays and Sundays when the park is shut off from traffic. The park was looking for more water abundant supplies, and when we investigated with the well diggers, this park, we found old open wells dating 100 years, which were lying defunct. The well diggers had been cleaning it up, resetting it, and now there's enough and more water for the park's requirement. About 100,000 liters can be pumped in a day from this battery of 7 old open wells. That well with the red color there is also part of the tradition of Bangalore called the Garika festival, where people dance with the goddess on top of their head. And that dance comes and touches base with this well once every year. The Garika festival is at least 450 years old in Bangalore. So water and open wells not only link themselves to a history of development and use, but also with the culture and social traditions of the city, and that is being revived with the help of the traditional well diggers. Or take the case of an industry which is called the wheel and axle plant of the railways of the government of India. These wells are located within the plant, and they were forgotten, and garbage and solid waste was being dumped in that area. But when a good officer, an environmental officer, came in and with the help of the traditional well diggers, cleaned up that garbage space, revived the wetlands around the well, and cleaned up the wells themselves. You see that the wells are full of water. Rooftop rainwater from all the large sheds which dot the factory are also let into the wetland, allowed to recharge into the aquifer. These wells now give 300,000 liters of water a day, making this industry independent of the city's water requirements, thus saving more water for the city, but also energy, because the embodied energy from a well like this is about 0.1 units as compared to 1.88 units from the river Kaveri. Institutions, and Bangalore is full of educational institutions, also play their part in making recharge wells. This is the Indian Institute of Management in Bangalore, which has made more than 60 such beautiful recharge wells, linking it to the stormwater drain. And water from the roads, stormwater drains is picked up, filtered, and led into these shallow wells, recharging the aquifer. And what the Indian Institute of Management has found is that its groundwater table is coming up, and the bore wells, which were yielding very less water, now start to yield more and more water. The economic benefits are clear, the ecological benefits are clear. All it requires are simple steps of involving the traditional well diggers and making these beautiful recharge wells. How is the recharge well made? There on the left you see the traditional well digger. They use hand implements. They dig right through the earth. A team of 4 can dig one well 20 feet deep and 3 feet in diameter in one day. First, the pit is dug, then it is lined with precast concrete rings, as you can see there, then covered with a grill, a steel grill, or a concrete slab for security and safety purpose. Stormwater is then filtered, let into the recharge well, or rooftop water is let in. It's a simple process, takes a team of 4, just one day to do it. Then, gated communities also get into that. Industries, institutions, individual houses, gated communities, like this beautiful gated community called Rainbow Drive, which has made 300 beautiful recharge wells, the things that you can see in blue. They have communitized the groundwater extraction. Only 3 bore wells are dug by the community, and the water is shared equally. The water pipeline connection is metered. There's a tariff set for demand management. A wastewater treatment plant has been set up to recycle wastewater. And through this process of shallow aquifer recharge, metering, demand management, and wastewater recycling, this gated community of about 36 acres is water positive, thus showing the way for other gated communities in the city to start to plan for their water and wastewater use to become water positive. Apartments also do shallow aquifer recharge. This is an apartment called TZ, which have made about 44 recharge wells. And not only has TZ community made sure that every drop of rainwater is put into the aquifer with the help of the well diggers, but they've also ensured that the wastewater is treated to such a level that it can actually be drunk, making it the first community in India to drink their own treated wastewater after blending it with groundwater. This becomes an example for other apartments in gated communities on managing rainwater, shallow aquifer water, and wastewater too. As lakes are being revived across the city, the one on the left is called Kaikondrahalli Lake. It's a large lake which has been revived with community action. Wells in the surrounding areas have started to increase in water level. This huge well is in the downstream area of the lake. It's in some place here. And this well now provides for a set of apartments all the water that it needs. And it's been revived by the traditional well diggers, Pendana and team. What we envisage for the city is 1 million wells picking up rainwater, recharging it into the aquifer, reviving it, providing livelihoods critically. The well diggers, there are 750 families of well diggers in Bangalore, and most of them depend on digging wells for a livelihood. If they get a livelihood for the next 5 to 7 years, in which the 1 million wells are made for the city, and every drop of rainwater falling on the city is pushed into the aquifer, if not every drop, at least 50% of the rain that falls into the city, if it goes into the shallow aquifer, then the wells will provide us a treasure. And the treasure is not coins, but it's also the water that will emerge in it, and which is more precious than anything that you can imagine in this present day for our city. We believe that the way forward is water literacy, where young people and professionals and policymakers are educated about the role of the well diggers and the importance of social interventions for ecological regeneration. Through a combination of physical infrastructure of large pipelines and small projects like rainwater harvesting, wastewater recycling, and groundwater recharge to recharge wells, Bangalore with its Million Wells program should be the forerunner for other cities in India and across the world on how to manage urban groundwater and urban rainwater wisely, at the same time providing livelihoods to people. Thank you for the patience in listening. This is Vishwanath from Bangalore, South India.